Hayao Miyazaki,
the legendary animator behind Studio Ghibli, is to many the greatest filmmaker of all time. His hand-drawn animation masterpieces have enchanted the world for decades, and the heart of his work has always been a deep respect for life, nature, and the imperfections of humanity.
However, the only thing that is as legendary as his career
is his history with AI. After directing 11 films, Miyazaki was nearing 80 and felt like he didn't have the drive to direct movies anymore. This is why he decided to retire and live a quiet life by feeding the birds in his backyard and illustrating in his living room. Still, even after having such a long and a successful career, not to mention being able to create a legacy that would live forever, there was one thing that still kept bothering him. For decades, he had had a vision for a short film about a caterpillar named Boro that he never had the chance to make. The reason why the short film was never made, and actually the reason for his retirement, was the same.
The reason being his perfectionism.
Miyazaki always knew that great art was created through great adversity, and to him, the thing that mattered the most was being able to create the best film possible, no matter what.
Because of this, Miyazaki has famously been an extremely strict boss who isn't shy to speak his mind.
Working under these kind of strict conditions was to most people too much, and eventually, due to people leaving the studio one after another, Miyazaki was left without an animation team, forcing him to retire. Creating hand-drawn animation requires a lot of time and, most importantly, people. And now, without a team, there was no way for him to even create this single short film. However, everything changed one day when Miyazaki's longtime producer Toshio Suzuki arranged a meeting with young, up-and-coming computer animators who could be able to help Miyazaki finish his final project with the help of modern technology.
毛の動きはこうであるというのをコンピューターで計算して出してるとこいつはちょっとはいなんかうまくいきそうな気がしますね
Miyazaki was impressed with what the computer animator showed him and felt like maybe there was still a chance to bring his vision to life. It didn't take long for the old Studio Ghibli offices to be once again bursting with life, with Miyazaki busy storyboarding and creating the key animations by hand, while the computer animation team took care of creating the assets that would be used for the animation. Working on a new project seemed to bring Miyazaki back to life, reigniting his passion for filmmaking. For months, they worked tirelessly and everything seemed to be moving forward as planned, though little did they know they were about to hit a wall once the first bits of animation were ready to be seen.
ちょっとね、振り向き方がね、大人になってる。引きを見ればわかりますけど、そんなキリッと向かない。なんていうのかな、こういうのもね、全部文化ですから。
The movement of the characters didn't seem right to Miyazaki. His vision simply wasn't coming to life. Having previously worked with hand-drawn animation, he started to realize that drawing movement by hand and animating it on a computer were two completely different worlds. Even if working with a computer was much faster, it still came with its own problems.
To him, the computer animation was missing something that came through with hand-drawn animation, the human touch.
Months passed without a breakthrough, and Miyazaki grew more and more frustrated each day. He felt like continuing the project would be risky, since if the short film didn't turn out as he hoped, it would be a step backwards in his career, which he wasn't willing to take at his age. But the one who was suffering the most seemed to be the leader of the computer animation team, who was responsible for making sure the product met Miyazaki's incredibly high standards. Not only were they directly responsible to Miyazaki, but they were also responsible for their whole team, and after some time, the ever-increasing pressure eventually got to them, and they ended up having to go to the hospital due to the sheer amount of stress they had. The project hadn't been moving forward for a long time, and now without the animation leader, it seemed like all was lost. This made Miyazaki to consider admitting defeat and scrapping the whole project for everyone's sake. Miyazaki's producer Toshio Suzuki wasn't ready to give up though. To try and salvage the project, he arranged another meeting, this time with a team that could help animating the movement of the CGI characters with the use of artificial intelligence.
今日は人工知能で、映像処理するのっていうのがあちこち発表されてるんですけど、でこれは早く移動するっていうのが学習させたやつなので、頭をもう普通の足のように使って移動してるっていうこんなことをやっています。
僕はこれを自分たちの仕事をつなげたいとは全然思いません。これを作る人たちは痛みとかそういうものについてね、何も考えないでやってるでしょ。極めて何か生命に対する侮辱を感じます。
To Miyazaki, the grotesque AI character who wasn't able to feel pain while moving was insulting to all those real people who do feel pain in their everyday lives. To him, these AI characters were completely devoid of life, and because of this, he saw AI as something he would never want to be associated with.
どこへたどり着きたいですか？人間が描くのと同じように絵を描く機械。
Not only was AI completely lacking humanity, but also it seemed like the technology was something that would eventually take away the thing he loved the most in life: drawing.
Miyazaki has always appreciated life above all else. And to him, life isn't about just the big moments in it, it's about the small things, the everyday life.
見てたんだけど、親父が水やってました、芝生に。上から見てるとは夢にも思ってないです。
His work and his drawings are a way for him to explore and appreciate the wonderful world around us, and to him, his films aren't just mindless entertainment, they're a love letter to humanity and life itself. For him, an artist who isn't taking his work seriously isn't taking his or other people's lives seriously. Miyazaki's films in their essence are about humanity, they're a mirror into our own soul. To him, an animator who puts their soul into their project casts a reflection that can be seen through the film itself. However, if there is no animator, there isn't a reflection to be seen from the film either. Hearing how the AI team wanted to create a future where machines draw instead of humans made Miyazaki realize that art without humanity was about to come to an end.
This was actually such a shock to him that he felt like there was one more thing he needed to do with his life.
He decided to come out of retirement to create one final film, with one strict rule. Everything had to be made by people. No shortcuts, no machines, just people. The project would take years to complete, and Miyazaki, already in his late 70s, feared he might not live to see it finished. Everything about this film defied modern standards, but to him it was more than just a film. He had now realized that the art form he dedicated his life to was slowly slipping away. So he had made a quiet promise to himself. If animation was going to die, he would make sure he went first.